Okay, everybody. I'm back with Volume 5 of my series of 2020-2021 NBA preseason predictions / preview videos. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my number 5 all-time favorite NBA team, and that would be the San Antonio Spurs. The last any of us heard and or saw from San Antonio, they had unexpectedly morphed into an all-new team with a brand new style of play during the postseason. But it was mostly brought upon through experimentation in the lineup during the postseason in the quote-unquote NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida. But San Antonio, upon reaching Florida, they ended up getting there without 3 starters in their lineup. Lamarcus Aldridge was rehabbing a shoulder injury. Bryn Forbes was rehabbing a quad injury. And Trey Lyles, I want to say, was something involving his appendix. He either had it removed or he had something fixed. What was it called? The actual procedure as far as working on your appendix. I can't think of it right now. But whatever it's called. That's what Trey Lyles had going on for him last season. But anyway, San Antonio played with a young 4-guard lineup that resulted in breakneck paces and more freedom on the floor. Because Greg Popovich stripped away much of the typically rigid structure that San Antonio is known for. And those who played in the bubble this past season, they performed so well in 8 seeding games that Greg Popovich just decided, basically, let's adopt this new style of play that we put in that we saw in the postseason going forward, and let's see what happens from there. And I think that'll be the next evolution of the style of play in basketball for San Antonio. Appendectomy, that's what it was called. What Trey Lyles had to do was it was an appendectomy. Anyway, looking at the team right now with what's missing from them for the roster. Excuse me, definitely 3-point shooting with the leading scorers. You had Lamarcus Aldridge and Demar Derozan. They spent the majority of their careers as mid-range specialists, especially Demar Derozan, being given the nickname of the mid-range assassin. And I can see why the nickname suits him perfectly. San Antonio ranked 28th last year in 3-point attempts, which was 28.5%. If I remember correctly, looking at a stat that I saw before recording this video. And an accuracy that ranked 4th at 37.5%. But there's also uncertainty regarding how Lamarcus Aldridge is going to fit into San Antonio's new style of play due to the fact that he wasn't with the team during the playoffs. Excuse me, because of his injured shoulder. I think Lamarcus Aldridge is going to be just fine. He's going to be able to adapt to this new style of play, and that might be a slight boost in terms of the stats, depending on how he does this year. I think he'll be back better than ever. We'll be able to see how exactly his shoulder turns out as far as his rehab and practice and training and getting back into the swing of things. Especially tonight. I don't remember who San Antonio plays, but I know their season starts tonight along with a host of other teams. But Greg Popovich and several other teammates expressed overall confidence in Lamarcus Aldridge's ability to shoot, as far as fitting into this style also. But again, we haven't seen him play in a more free-flowing, up-tempo type of offense. we just might see that tonight. I'm curious to see, at least if the game is on TV, I'm curious to see how it is. But I'm sure there'll be videos of it on YouTube probably. Maybe when the game is over, someone will post some highlights on it or something. But anyway, in a more up-tempo and free-flowing offense in which he's asked to contribute more as a three-point shooter, I think Lamarcus Aldridge will be fine. Speaking of the roster, San Antonio lost a couple of their best outside shooters from off the bench. One of them was returning player Marco Bellinelli, who, if you remember, in the 2013-2014 NBA season, he won the NBA Finals with the San Antonio Spurs. And Marco Bellinelli he's in the history books. He's the first Italian in NBA history to win an NBA championship. But that was 6.5 years ago. Anyway, Marco Bellinelli ended up going back to Italy. I don't remember the name of the team that he's playing for now. It's Sicily or Rome or somewhere. I don't remember whereabout or exactly it is, but Marco Bellinelli ended up going back to his home country of Italy to play basketball, and Bryn Forbes ended up going to the Milwaukee Bucks on a 2-year deal. Greg Popovich, I had read or heard somewhere that he revealed that the Spurs could be missing 3 of the stars from the postseason as far as starting this year, so maybe tonight they might not play. Derek White with a toe injury, Keldon Johnson with a foot injury, and is it Quinndary or Kindary Weatherspoon? I think it's Quinndary. He sustained some sort of knee injury. I don't remember when it was or what it was, but odds are he probably won't play tonight. But other things that are new for the Spurs, this really caught my eye, especially with some of their draft pick out of Florida State, Devin Vassell. I'll get to him in a minute. Aside from a new playing style, there's really not much that's new because the Spurs entered free agency with very little flexibility as far as upgrades. They ended up taking care of a couple of their own free agents by re-signing big names such as Jacob Poltel, Drew Eubanks, and Quinndary Weatherspoon. Quinndary Weatherspoon was a second-round draft pick out of 2019, the 2019 NBA draft, if I remember correctly. I thought he was an undrafted free agent, but I had no idea that he was even drafted in the second round. But San Antonio added a pair of promising prospects in the draft, though. Devin Vassell out of Florida State. He ended up going 11th overall. And Trey Jones out of Duke, he ended up going 41st overall. But the San Antonio Spurs typically don't play rookies early, but both guys have an outside shot to work their way into the rotation. As far as Devin Vassell, though, ideally he'll be, I'll call him Danny Green 2.0, with a side of playmaking. But he's built similarly, though, to Danny Green. But I wouldn't have made that comparison if he didn't also have excellent defensive instincts, either as a help defender or on the ball. Devin Vassell is smart enough to be in the rotation from day one, at least how I see it. Maybe he'll see some action tonight. I hope so. And if so, then good for him. Greg Popovich, even he commended Devin Vassell. He said, as far as taking pride in playing both ends of the floor and understanding the game at a high level. That is not empty praise, especially coming from Coach Pop. Another new wrinkle that you could probably expect from the Spurs this year is more three-point shooting from Lamarcus Aldridge. He finished last season with career highs in attempts and makes. He made 61 and attempted 157 from range. Excuse me. But if Lamarcus Aldridge becomes a legitimate threat from deep, it spaces the floor for San Antonio's slashers to find driving lanes. And I think there was an interview, I don't remember who it was with, but Lamarcus Aldridge had an interview with NBA.com. He said, I'm already feeling more comfortable shooting three-pointers now than what I did last year. So that's going to be rather insightful as far as comments like that. I mean, Lamarcus Aldridge, he has all the reason in the world to be high up on himself from that perspective, exuding confidence. And if I were him, I would be saying the same things, especially a caliber player like him. The potential starting five for San Antonio, this is going to be a tough one. Some people might disagree with this, others won't, but let's get started. Dejante Murray, 11 points per game last year. Almost 6 rebounds per game and 4 assists. He made the All-NBA defensive team back in the 2017-2018 season. And he's poised to regain form in his second year since tearing his ACL back in 2018. Will he maintain that form, or will he start backsliding? I don't think he's going to be doing any backsliding anytime soon. Derek White, 11.5 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game. So let's say 12 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 4 assists. He's a two-way guard, and he really cranked up the three-point shooting in the postseason. He had 8 per game. That's a sign of things to come. If he can keep up on that, then the three-point shooting is going to be a real spectacle, if you ask me. Speaking of three-point shooting, the mid-range assassin, Demar Derozan, 22 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists per game. He's a 4-time All-Star, and he's perennially slept on due to a lack of three-point shooting, but improving on defense under Greg Popovich. I want to see how he does this year. Just, from a personal level, I want to see how DeMar DeRozan does this year compared to how he was last year. Maybe he ramps up the number of points he makes on average per game, the number of rebounds, and/or the number of assists, but we'll see. Lamarcus Aldridge, I say the same thing about him. His stats last year, he had 19 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. So let's say 3 assists and 8 rebounds. Let's bump up the stats a little bit. Coming off of shoulder surgery, he remains a constant target of trade rumors. As far as I know, everybody and their mother who wants to try and trade for him, unless the deal was really, really, really good, and Lamarcus Aldridge was starting to, go to the wayside or show a massive decline in his skills, then he's not going anywhere. Lamarcus Aldridge, I could probably see him with the Spurs for another several more years. I don't see him leaving San Antonio anytime soon. Jakob Poltel, almost 6 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and a former lottery pick who was actually San Antonio's all-time leader in single-season field goal percentage. Back in 2018-2019, his field goal percentage was .647%. So, key reserves, Lonnie Walker, the fourth, Lonnie Walker the fourth, he had 6.5 points per game, 2.5 rebounds per game, and 1 assist per game. If not one of the most athletic players on the entire roster for the Spurs, he's easily the most athletic guy. And I liked his style of play last year. He did quite a showing for himself. Rudy Gay, 11 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and almost 2 assists. 1.7, I think, was the actual stat. But let's say 2 assists and 6 rebounds per game. I had either heard or read somewhere in the offseason, in order to fit better with the Spurs' expected playing style, he ended up dropping approximately 15 pounds. Between 10 and 15 pounds, if you're expected to play in an all-new style of basketball and you put in the work to drop between 10 to 15 pounds, I personally commend you. I don't care if Rudy Gay lost between 10 to 15 pounds or 10 to 15 grams. As long as the weight's going down, then I give you all the credit in the world. So keep up the good work. Patty Mills, he's the longest tenured Spur. He plans on incorporating his playing style from the Australian national team into this new style from San Antonio. And for his stats last year, he had 11.5 points per game, 1.6 rebounds per game, and 2 assists. So, if I had to say as far as the reserves and the starting 5, that could all change. I don't know, but if I were to come up with my own list as far as the starting 5, that's how I would have it. Overall, I think San Antonio, I think they're going to push teams, but they're going to be exciting to watch. I know game one of the regular season is tonight for them, but Greg Popovich's tutelage almost automatically guarantees San Antonio is going to have a fighting shot to advance to the postseason. I hope so too. It was after missing the postseason for the first time in 23 years. Something's got to give, and I think San Antonio finally makes it back again. They'll finish better than last year, but it likely won't be good enough to make the playoffs. At least that's what some people are saying. I disagree with that. Somehow, in some way, San Antonio is going to find a way to make the postseason. They're just going to push on, and they're going to probably shock the world this year. I'm not saying they're going to go all the way and win the NBA Finals, but the naysayers saying San Antonio is not going to go to the postseason, I think they're going to be proven wrong. Especially Greg Popovich. He's a smart enough coach, but he's also smart in changing the team's style in order to fit a athletic young personnel core that he has on his roster, and I commend him for that. I really do, because the current crop of players that's currently on the team right now, this will give the organization the building blocks, so to say, to help try and create another 20-plus year reign of dominance and championships in the future, hopefully. San Antonio can jump back into free agency next year when Lamarcus Aldridge and Demar Derozan are off the books. If they decide to move them, I don't think so. Again, I think Demar Derozan and Lamarcus Aldridge are going to be staying with San Antonio for quite a while. But that's another story for another time. San Antonio is definitely going to be knocking on the door of the postseason this year. I really do. Some people say it's doubtful that they get in. I disagree with that. I think they make it in. For a predicted finish out of 72 games, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to say they go. Let's see. My math's not right here, so 30. I'm going to say they go 38 and 34. Maybe their record will improve. Maybe they'll win several more games than I originally have them pegged at, but it's going to be fun to see, especially if you're a San Antonio Spurs fan, you're going to be keeping an eye out for this team, seeing how well they perform. That being said, keep an eye out for Volume 6 of my videos. The 2020-2021 NBA preseason preview and predictions. I'll be talking about the Orlando Magic next, and that'll cap off that series. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to me on YouTube, drop a comment, give a like, and keep an eye out for future content later on. And by later on, I probably mean within the next couple minutes when Volume 6 gets posted. So check out all my other videos in the meantime. Give those a like as well. Drop a comment. And thank you for the continued show and support. And I will talk to you guys later. Be well, stay safe, take care, and let's see what happens. If you'd like to give me your own thoughts as far as some of the teams that I've covered and or whatever other team or teams you like, feel free to do that too. So I will talk to you later. Keep an eye out for Volume 6. It should be up momentarily. And that, at least temporarily, that does it for me. So I'm out.